Back here on CBS Sports HQ, we're about halfway through the NFL season, and we're starting to see who the contenders are. We're getting a look at the current AFC playoff picture. The undefeated Chiefs sitting in that top spot, the #1 seed. The other division leaders, we have the Texans, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and then the wild card spots, we have the Broncos, Baltimore, and the Chargers. But going back to the #1 seed, it is the undefeated Chiefs. And our Mike Renner had some thoughts, had some words about this Chiefs team. Take a listen.
This is one of the fakest NFL, undefeated teams right now in the NFL. They're blowing nobody out. 5 one-score wins so far in the season. They ain't going undefeated. They're going to drop one. They could lose to the Broncos this upcoming week. They are a good team. They're not a great team. They're not going undefeated.
Really?
All right, back here on HQ, we have Mike Renner joining the desk because we had to pull out the receipts, right, as we're talking about the AFC playoff picture. Yeah, you still feel that way? Have you had a change of heart? Have you had backlash on social media?
I have had a little. It's only been one day, though. I still feel that way. I will say, I just want to clarify a little bit. I still think they're the best team in the AFC. It's just, are they an undefeated team? There's only been 2 in NFL history for a reason. It takes a lot to go undefeated, and I don't think they're going to for a 17-game season. And I think we think about them a lot differently if Isaiah likely got his foot in week 1, and if Dijon Anthony wasn't called for a pass interference in week 2, they'd be right there with all the other 2-loss teams in the AFC. I think they're good. I think they're the top of that heap. But I don't think they're light years better the way their record suggests right now. I just think they are beatable at the end of the day, and I think we'll see that throughout the rest of the season, whether it's the Bucks, the Broncos, the Bills the upcoming weeks, or the Texans later on this season. I think at some point they're going to drop one. They're just very consistent, though. That's why they're 7-0. That's why they're multiple back-to-back champs here.
They're all beatable in this league. Everybody's beatable.
Any given Sunday is there for a reason.
And look, when the Miami Dolphins went undefeated, they were beatable back in the day. If you go back and look at some of those games, they were not blowing teams out. They're beatable. But you look at the schedule, and the schedule says they have a legitimate chance to go undefeated. At Buffalo, that's the game. If they can somehow navigate that game, and that's not going to be easy, look at that schedule. Where's the loss? They're not going to lose to the Bucks at home. Versus the Broncos at home, they'll win. At the Bills, at the Panthers, Raiders at home. Chargers, that's a tough one, but it's at home. At the Browns, where's the loss in there? Where's the loss?
Unless you're not playing Christmas. What about that?
Huh? Russell Wilson will turn into Russell Wilson by then. We're at the Broncos. They might not need to play in Week 18, so that might be a decision. But if they beat the Bills, I say they have a legitimate chance to go undefeated.
Yeah, and I think that's really the tough spot, is being able to go on the road to a team you've beat time and time again in these big, meaningful games. And Mike, I mean, you're right. They haven't dominated anybody. No. But at the end of the day, they are that amoeba-like team. Like when we talked about the New England Patriots for so long, there were weeks where it looked like the Patriots were not the class of the league, but they found a way to win games. And I think with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and more importantly, I'm going to just emphasize this, more importantly, Steve Spagnuolo and that defense right now, this team has a chance to win every single one of these games. The one that's concerning to me is Denver, at Denver in the final week of the season.
They might not play anybody by then.
But you know what? Then you run the risk of being the #1 seed. How many weeks are they going to have to take off if they go undefeated? So if you're Andy Reid, do you sit your guys out for essentially the break between minicamp and training camp?
The way he handles training camp, I doubt in preseason, I doubt he would sit his players anyways. And by the way, if you got a chance to go for history, you go for it.
Just to put some numbers to the Chiefs right now, 7th in points per drive offensively, 11th in points per drive defensively. That's a good team. That's not an elite team, right? Like, that's usually to be the class of the NFL.
The right way for
you got to be a top 3, a dominant unit on one side of the ball, and I just don't think they are. They're very good. That's not to say, again, I think they're the best team in the AFC. They're just not the caliber
you're not
team
say they're the best
that
team
goes
in the NFL.
Even one-loss team.
They're not
I think
the best
they end
team
up
in the
with
NFL?
3 losses at the
They're
end.
not the best team in the NFL?
The Lions probably are. I think they probably end the season with 3 losses.
With no pass rushers or with a pass rusher?
Yeah. They got pass rushers on the interior.
They don't have any edge rushers.
When the games are tight, and you've got number 15 at the quarterback position, I have more faith in the Kansas City Chiefs than anybody else, because even when the balls aren't finding the receiver's hands, or if they are and they're dropped, Patrick Mahomes can tuck it and say, I'm going to do this thing on my own. We saw it against San Francisco. We've seen it time and time again with Patrick Mahomes. I have the utmost in faith in the Kansas City Chiefs in close ball games. But to your point, they're not blowing anybody out, so they're going to be in a lot of close games.
They have some issues to fix.
And they're not getting fixed offensively unless they trade, right? And they tried to do it with DeAndre Hopkins, but they need a left tackle.
They need a left tackle.
Left tackle right now.
I made a move for him. I got him Cam Robinson already.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. If it's the Lions, if it were your guaranteed Lions and your Lions, and it was Dan Campbell or Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff, where's the edge go? clearly it goes to the Chiefs. And to me, that's not close. That's clearly the Chiefs.
We have a question from our producer. What's up, Noah?
This should be good.
You'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. He wants to know, and I'm not sure if this is in regard to Patrick Mahomes. I believe it's Patrick Mahomes. The undefeated season. We've seen it once with the 72 Dolphins. Yeah. It is very difficult to do. Is that hanging, this is coming from our producer, over Patrick Mahomes' head in relation to comparing himself to Brady as the greatest of all time? I would think it would be more Super Bowl wins.
I think it's
as opposed to an undefeated season.
I think it's three-peating right now, because that's one thing Tom Brady did not do. Yep. He didn't three-peat. So if Patrick Mahomes
also didn't go undefeated a whole season, but
think about this.
In the grand scheme of things,
if they went undefeated and three-peated, could you clearly make a case maybe that he's the greatest of all time? Yes. The answer to that question would be yes.
Would you consider him better than Tom Brady if he does do that?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would. If he does that,
right on par. I mean,
there's not many things that have never been done.
Yeah.
And being able to three-peat and going undefeated would put you in the rarest of airs. You would need an oxygen tank. There is no air left when you're up there.
And what would it be? Four? It would
it's on top of Everest right now.
4 rings total.
In how many years?
Since 2017 he was drafted.
7.
All right. Noah, are we happy with that answer? I can't say what he said. All right, let's move on to the team that could potentially be the #2 seed. Yes, we are looking at the Texans and the Bills. The Steelers, though, Pete, are also there. Who do you like to come out in this position?
Well, the Bills are the best of that group. I don't think there's any question about that. And in large part because they have Josh Allen. Russell Wilson, C.J. Stroud's not been playing well, but in large part because his offensive line has been terrible. And he's been getting hit a lot. Buffalo's offensive line has played well. They've done a nice job. Your buddy does a nice job coaching them up.
Chrome.
I take the Bills. I think the Bills are the second best team in the AFC right now. And might end up being the best team in the AFC.
And you've got Superman at quarterback with Josh Allen.
Just threw that in there.
And he's taking care of the football really well. I think he threw his first interception this past week. But to your point, when you've got that offensive line and Superman can't get his cape on the right way, you can rely on that running game. You can rely on dominating the line of scrimmage. And that's what this Buffalo Bills team has done. They've been really good at the line of scrimmage. And I love the run game. And if like I said, if Josh Allen happens to have one of those days where he's off, they can rely on that run game in the offensive line.
I got to go Bills as well, just because the injuries to the Texans receiver position. They are not the same without Nico Collins. He just does so much for that offense, and you've seen C.J. Stroud just struggle to find answers without him, whereas the Bills are kind of the flip side. Once Amari Cooper got there, it's like, oh, now they have answers everywhere. Now Keon Coleman's playing better because he's not getting as much attention. Everyone's looking Amari Cooper's way, so I do think this Bills offense, among those teams with 2 losses, they have the best one.
Jets? 9% chance to make the playoffs. I asked for like I wish we could just make the lights go dark in here because you got to go to the darkness apparently to figure things out. Are we burying the Jets?
I mean, I thought they were going to get the schedule's favorable. They're going to get on a little run, and you go to New England and lose in a game you had no. What, they gave up 250 yards. They had no business losing that game, and they still found a way to lose. Something's not right with this team. The quarterback's not playing great. For one, I mean, for all the talk about let's go get him a weapon, let's do this, let's get this. Well, they got Reddick back, they got him a weapon in Devontae Adams, and he's not playing well. He's part of the problem. So I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, not only that, their defense got driven down the field against this Patriots team to win the football game. You're in a position, you have a team that is led by your defense. Yes, we have questions about Aaron Rodgers and their production on offense, but if your defense can't step up to the plate and make a big play against a really, really abysmal offense, there are bigger concerns than the quarterback.
Yeah, stick a fork in the Jets. I think 9% is even too high. I think they are toast, and it's because of the move they made 2 weeks ago. Firing Robert Saleh was a disaster of a move that early on in the season. You lost the defense when you did that. You look at the results since then. 37 points to the Steelers, 25 to the Patriots when they allowed 3 to the Patriots the first time around. That, to me, comes back to coaching because it's kind of a knock-on effect. Once Robert Saleh goes, now your interim head coach has more on his plate. Now you're kind of have everyone else has more on their plate. That Robert Saleh was the guy holding it all together. All of a sudden, defensive side of the football, no one wants to play.
Aaron didn't like him.
Yep.
GM Aaron Rodgers.
GM Aaron Rodgers. He's got a like a little thing like I do.
That's just at 9%. I was trying to figure out. I don't have time to look it up because we have seen some teams go from like really low chances
the bottom
to make the postseason.
AFC isn't great either, so that's why they're not. That's why they're still alive.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be somewhere else next year.
Yeah, I think he gets
Home?
back up on the
Retired.
I don't know.
Going back to the dark.
Making a claim.
Yeah, it's going back to the
It's a
darkness.
guarantee.
Guy loves football.
You have a lot of guaranteed this year.
Panthers?
This week.
Oh gosh.
Don't put that on him.
Pete, Kyle, Mike, this is all food for thought for your podcast, Pushing the Pile. You can hear the guys wherever you get your pods, or you can watch it right now by scanning that QR code on your screen.